And hello, we are live. Welcome to Holistic Healers. This is a podcast streaming from my online platform, Holistic Healing. I'm your host. My name is Morgan Rutkowski. For those who are new here or don't know me, I'm currently a doctoral student getting my doctorate in clinical psychology. I am working also as a mental health clinician for an outpatient behavioral health facility. And I work with forensics clients who either have current or prior legal involvement. But I'm also just really interested in holistic healing or the holistic approach. So what is that? What is holistic healing? And who am I? What am I doing here? So to get started, holistic healing is a program I started that aims to help more people reinvent the current ways that they think and even act about their health. When we think about our health, there's a stigma that has influenced the medical and the healthcare fields for centuries now. And it promotes that, our mental and our physical and even our spiritual health are separate categories that don't influence each other, if at all. We have our physical health, right? And that focuses on working out, going to our gym, the food, nutrition that we are eating and consuming, disease mitigation, injury prevention, all of that. Then we have our mental health. We focus on emotional regulation, anger, emotions, how we show up in relationships with others and with ourselves, trust, trauma, boundaries, expectations, symptom management, and even possible diagnoses we've received from professionals. We have also, our spiritual health. And for some, this could be religion, this could be cultural traditions. How I usually refer to it is our connection to a higher universe. This is birth charts, astrology, karma, tarot, karmic debt, numerology, life path, past lives, even our connection to nature. So with all of this, there's also other realms of our life that are just as important, right? We have our families, school, social lives, our peers, finances, like I said earlier, cultures and traditions, our desires, our dreams. And, the list is just limitless. So what is this holistic approach? So what it does is it emphasizes that connection between all coexisting realities that we live in. It connects our mind, our body, our soul, our finances to our peers, to our culture, to our dreams, our desires, and it makes them equal partners instead of separate categories. And so who am I, right? What am I doing here? I became really interested and started this podcast just to have a more accessible discussion about this mind, body, and soul connection with more people. And so while I was growing up, I was very involved in sports. I played soccer and volleyball and ran track and lifted weights for a majority of my life. And once I entered college and I entered, a new realm of living, I was all on my own. I ended my sports career. I became way more involved in hiking, mountain biking, skiing, snowboarding, things I never really did. But for a majority of my life, I was really disconnected from my emotions. I had really poor communication skills. I would bottle my feelings in and essentially dissociate, by using those sports that I did, or was that nonstop studier as my coping mechanisms, my outlets. I really had no awareness of the thoughts and the beliefs and, how they were impacting my feelings and my behaviors towards others and myself. So once I became involved and started studying psychology more, taking classes, working in the field like I am now, doing internships, working with just more people, I realized the importance of self-reflection. And I started to evaluate how I used to treat others and communicate my needs or not communicate them. And what I found out, it became very apparent that there were stages in my life where I completely ignored my physical health over my mental health, as well as, my mental health over my physical health. And it was a very cyclical pattern of my life. And until I had the awareness to it, it probably would have continued. So as this multi-sport athlete for a majority of my life, I use those outlets and, the physical health mantra as a reason to disregard the stress I was feeling, panic attacks, the migraines, just the general dysregulation of my mental health, of my nervous system. And I wasn't able to cope. And so, college came around, and by the time, I was doing more of those classes, it became more valuable to me. I completely shut out my physical health and gained a ton of weight and, until I became really active. So, I really look back on this and I was like, I did not care at all about the food I was eating, the food I was buying. My skin was terrible. How often I was drinking with my friends, going out and partying. And, for those people that were involved in my life too, they probably could see the dysregulation of my mental health as well. So it really just had a huge overall impact on my general health, but I just really wasn't aware to it until recently. So with months and months of this self-reflection and connecting to more holistically minded people in my life, I realized that I was in this sort of autopilot. I focused all my time and energy on just one category of my health, either my mental health, my physical health, instead of them, all working equally as one. I was unaware of the decisions I was making. I let maladaptive coping strategies I learned when I was younger really direct my life choices. And that's how holistic healing was formed and how it's being cultivated into what it is today. So I want to make holistic health more accessible. That's kind of the purpose here. I want to be able to share information about mental health, gut health, nutrition, spirituality, astrology, grief interventions, trauma, somatic therapies, everything throughout my time studying and what I learned through work and what I have conversations about with people, and just have it become more available to really anyone, right? I work with forensics clients who may have not had the opportunity to learn some of these things. And even for them, I try to use this in my approach at work. And hopefully, maybe someday this can be used to, limit recidivism rates. Who knows? So, but let's focus on, holistic healing for what it is today. It's now brings me to now, right? I have my Holistic Healers platform, my podcast stemming from holistic healing. And it's just to provide a collective collaboration with anyone who is focused on their mind, their body, or their spiritual health at any point of their life, and just want to have a conversation about it. These monthly podcasts will hopefully, be a great archive for people trying to better their health holistically, who need a little inspiration and want to hear from their peers. So, Holistic Healers, this podcast is aimed at those interested in reinventing the ways that they think about their health now to become their most authentic and healthiest versions of themselves. So I just wanted to say thank you for joining me on this healing journey and this little introduction to this podcast. If you are interested in following along, subscribe to this podcast, follow my Instagram. It's at holistic_healing_LC, or reach out to me on my website, holistichealinglc.com, or my Gmail for inquiries about wellness sessions, tarot readings that I do, or just become a guest on the show. So thank you again for all the support, and I hope to talk to everyone soon. Thank you so much for joining. Bye.